I grew up with moving around. My father worked for an airline, and I wanted to be a pilot because, like every little girl, I thought my dad walked on water and everything he did was wonderful. And my dad, in his infinite wisdom, was like, you have to be good at math to be a pilot, which is not even true. And of course, I was like, oh, I don't like math. And so from there, I remember 1984, there was the drought in Ethiopia, and I was watching it on TV. And I remember sitting there, my dad was there again, and I said, I would like to work and help people like this. This is what I want to do. And again, in his infinite wisdom, he goes, how are you going to make money with that? Right? So, and I love languages. I wanted to be a linguist. Well, how are you going to make money with that? And something was telling me the money thing wasn't really the way to go, but he was my father, and he walked on water. So I decided to follow a path that could make money, which my father wanted me to be a linguist or an interpreter at the UN. And the interpreters at the UN, diplomatic interpreters, if you know, I speak several languages, they whisper and they make themselves invisible. It's very hard for me. And I tried it. I was in college in France, and I was supposed to be a diplomatic interpreter. And the first thing they told me to do was to talk without my hands. That's very difficult. And we decided that was not going to work. So I moved to the US when I was 22 in 1993, and I had 3 gay men roommates, and one of them had AIDS. So my path is very much around values and emotion, right? So I moved in with this roommate. I'm 22 and, figuring out what is being an adult, because they tell you you are at 18. And they don't tell you that it goes on, your brain doesn't mature until you're 25. So, and then I was grounded in reality and death because of the pandemic back then of the last century. And I started volunteering for Gay Men Health Crisis. I started volunteering for other organizations. And I was recruited in that field. I was an outreach worker in New York City, and giving out prophylactics and other useful information around HIV and AIDS. And I was like, this is what I was talking about when I said I wanted to do this type of help, right? That my father thought there was no money into it. And then I grew through the rank doing the same work. I worked in HIV and AIDS prevention, treatment, all new populations that showed up and the pandemic was affecting them. I focused on that and eventually was curious enough to think about funding for organizations that do service work, right? Like, it seems just very arbitrary. Go outside there and make somebody use a condom in 3 months and never engage in risky behavior. Kind of ridiculous. And the thought process interested me, so I became a funder for organizations that do what we do, direct service work. And in there, again, learning and sort of just shifting, I became a funder in global LGBTQI work, funding across rights for LGBTQ individual as an ally, and sort of entering that world where I was always attracted by those who were othered, right? Because I grew up somewhat a foreigner everywhere that I lived.